after this, and you'll have to give me an address. So anyway, other than that, a couple notes here. One is, please share the course if you are enjoying it. Just word of mouth helps us grow. So if you like the course, please just tell a friend, or mention on Twitter or whatever social media you're on, and just tell the community, because the more we grow, the more that I have the opportunity to do this and teach more often, maybe even more than just Wednesday nights. So that'll be the goal in the long run. So if you enjoy it, please do share. Quick shout outs to David Sanchez for joining the Patreon $15 club. Thank you so much for your monthly donation. And thanks to Soli for a $100 donation last time. Not sure that I mentioned it, so I did want to mention it here. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. And lastly, I've got a humble brag. It's not really a brag. It's just a pen testing lesson of sorts. So you may have seen this going around on Twitter or LinkedIn, where I got a vulnerability through a bug bounty the other morning. It was yesterday morning or 2 mornings ago now. And if you look where you see the green check mark, you can see all the circled out not goods. There's 8 of them. And really, this is kind of what it's like to be a pen tester. This is kind of why I wanted to show this. The first 8 vulnerabilities that I submitted were all declined or just turned down. They were not good enough for whatever reason, or they were too low scope. Whatever the reason was, they got declined. So on the 9th attempt, I finally succeeded. And that's kind of what pen testing is like. This is what, if you enjoy overcoming an obstacle, persevering, you're going to really enjoy pen testing. So it's definitely for people, they say try harder. I hate saying that. But it really is that mentality, is that you have to keep going. If you're going to stop at the first rejection or the 7th or 8th rejection, this might not be the field for you. So something to think about. If you are a person who is easily overwhelmed, this might not be the field for you. For those of you that, look, I started my first submission 11 days before I got the other one, and I submitted, for at least a week, and then hunted that bug down for a week before I found it. So just think about that in terms of doing a penetration test and looking for openings. They're not always going to be wide open. So other than that, we are ready to dive right in today. Thank you, Cool Dad, for the sub. I appreciate that. Welcome everybody who's joined. Looks like we're getting some latecomers here. Sorry, I did start the stream a little on time. Usually I start it early so everybody can get in here. Made that mistake. Apologize. I was working on getting categories set up, which got deleted for some reason. So I've gone ahead and just opened 2 tabs here. I've made a folder called Week 3. And we're going to do just a little bit of more advanced Python, not really super advanced Python, and then we're going to work on building our shitty port scanner. So once we do that, we'll do our giveaway Q&A, and we should be good to go. Okay, let me get my notes up really quick here. All right, so we're going to open gedit. And we're just going to call this, well, this is Python 102. We'll just call this 102.py. And I know you guys like this kind of side-by-side like this, so let me do that for you. Okay, and let's declare at the top that this is going to be Python 3. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is importing. Specifically importing modules. Like last time, I just want to print something here. So importing is important. That is a shitty pun, by the way. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of basic modules that we import. Typically when we import at the top. So if we are going to import something, we would probably put it up here, but for the proof of concept, just keeping our notes organized, I'm just going to put it down below. You'll see what importing looks like later when we actually build out our port scanner. Okay, so let's import sys. So we can import sys, and we can just say this is system functions and parameters. So if you think about like a system argument, which we'll see here when we build out our script, when we take an argument from a script, sys is needed for that. To exit out, we need sys as well, so you'll see that in a little bit. So also from modules, we can import a specific part of a module. So we can say from this module, so from date time, we'll just import date time. Thanks, Lee. I'm glad you liked my pun. Okay, and then we can say print date time dot now, and we can save it. If we come over to here and just say Python 3.102.py, you can see that it prints the date and the time. If I copy this and I delete it, save it, and rerun it, you can see that date time is not defined. We actually define that in the module that we import. So this is why importing is important. Okay, and also we can do an alias with this. So let's say we wanted to import date time. I'll just show you again. And then we'll import it as something else. We could say as DT. Say we don't want to call it date time, we just want to call it as DT. We can call this importing with an alias. And instead, we can just say print dt.now, and we'll get the same results. So there you go. And because you guys complained last time about my copy and paste of a new line, we will define a function called new line, and we will print a new line every time. So now we'll call new line, let that print, and we're going to move into advanced strings. If I go too fast, let me know. I'm just trying to save time since we are on a little bit of a crunch tonight, and I want to spend more time on actually building out the application itself. So let's print out here. We'll just call this advanced strings. And let's create a string with your name. So my name is Heath. So similar to what we were doing before with lists, we can actually call out parts of a string here. So remember last week, if I said to you, I want to grab the first initial of my name, how would we grab the first initial of this name? Any guesses? What number goes here? 0. Okay, good, good. Now, what if I wanted to grab the last initial of my name? Or last letter, I guess, not initial. How do we grab the last one? We could use length. We could use 4. Ah, look at you guys. -1. Let's check it and make sure. Yep, H, and then you see the little h here. So remember, -1 takes the last letter or last object. So remember, we start at 0, we go all the way through, and then we can have -1. Let's try this again, but let's try it with a sentence. So let's say sentence. We'll just say this is a sentence. Okay, now I want to print the sentence. And what do I put in here if I want to select the first word? I want to capture this. What are we going to put in there? I'm testing your knowledge from last time. Leah says it's 0 to 3. It is actually 4, and we don't have to put the 0. So JBL's got it right. If we do it like this, we should be able to capture the word this. Okay, so similarly, what if I wanted to capture the word sentence? Now, there's a couple ways we can do this. I'm looking for some negatives. That's my hint. We're keeping it simple. Very, very simple. Got to vote for -1, got to vote for -8, got to vote for -9. Okay, -9 is the correct answer. Now, what if I don't want that period? We could strip off the period, but what's an easier way to just get rid of the period in this sense? We know the word, we know the amount of characters. Just for basic thinking process here. We could remove it from the string. That is absolutely correct. What about a -1? Yeah, there you go. So we can also write it like this. So we can go backwards with the negatives. And now you see we pull out the word sentence. So just food for thought that we don't have to go from the positives. We can also take it backwards with a negative. Okay, so a couple more tricks with strings. Do you want to see what -0 looks like? We can check what -0 looks like. You get T, because there is no -0. It's just 0. All right, let's talk about using split. So let's say that we wanted to split sentence into every word that there is in sentence. So there's 4 words, right? Well, we can just say print sentence dot split and automatically split the sentence by a delimiter, which is going to be a space. Right? So we've got the space by default, so it'll say this is a sentence. Now, we could also do this for, say, example here. We could say sentence split equals sentence dot split. Right? Now we split it out. What if we wanted to join everything back together? Well, we could say sentence join, and we can also provide a delimiter here of a space like this. We'll say join sentence split, and if we were to print sentence join, it should look just like the sentence that we had. Even though we stripped it down, now you see it comes back to this as a sentence. But for a other proof of concept, we could print something like print. We can give it a new line for every one. Just put a new line and say join. And say sentence split like this. We won't put it into a variable. If we save that, then you see this is a sentence. So we can break these down and put them back together and structure them how we want.